You queued a render in FLUX 3 and had no idea what it would cost, while Veo 3 charged you exactly 40 cents per second and finished in 3 minutes flat. FLUX 3 is a multimodal video beast still in early access. Veo 3 is Google's production-ready video workhorse. One of them is ready for your workflow right now. Test 1. Cost. So you're shipping a video pipeline. You need to budget per second of output, and you go look up FLUX 3's official API rate. No official number anywhere, just third-party resellers starting at $4.90 a month. That's a real problem when your finance team asks you to forecast the bill before you commit. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. I checked every official source for FLUX 3 pricing and came up empty. Veo 3 has a hard number, 40 cents per second via the API, down from 75 cents. FLUX 3's only entry point is unofficial resellers from $4.90 a month, which is cheaper on paper but tells you nothing about what a real production run actually costs. Veo 3 takes cost, and it's not subtle. 40 cents per second is the only real per-unit figure in this whole matchup, and FLUX 3 just doesn't have an answer to that right now. I expected Black Forest Labs to have at least a beta pricing page up, but there's nothing official. So Veo 3 goes up 1 to nothing. I know that pricing gap because I've spent enough time inside these video tools to get burned by opaque early access billing. Drop a comment if a missing price sheet has ever wrecked your project budget. Test 2. Coding benchmark performance. A lot of people ask whether FLUX 3 or Veo 3 can handle code generation tasks, which makes sense if you're used to comparing AI tools on SWE Bench or Human Evil scores. The question is whether either of these models even belongs on that leaderboard, and the answer has real consequences for how you pick your stack. I went looking for coding benchmark data on both models, and the answer is pretty simple. Neither FLUX 3 nor Veo 3 is a code model. FLUX 3 is a video, image, and audio generation system. Veo 3 is a video generation model. Asking them to compete on SWE Bench is like timing a sprinter in a swimming race, and there's no published figure for either because there's nothing to publish. No winner here, and that's the right call because this dimension just doesn't apply to either product, so the score stays Veo 3-1, FLUX 3-0, with this test set aside. Test 3. Speed. You need an 8-second clip turned around fast, maybe for a client review in an hour. The question is how long you're actually sitting there waiting for the render to finish, because slow turnaround doesn't just waste your time. It breaks your whole creative iteration loop when you're trying to hit polished output inside a single afternoon. Look at the actual render times. Veo 3 fast gets an 8-second clip done in 2 to 3 minutes, and standard Veo 3 runs 5 to 10 minutes for the same clip. Both figures community reported, so treat them as directional. FLUX 3 Pro is built for speed, but no concrete number exists anywhere, which means you can't plan around it. Veo 3 takes speed because it has an actual fast mode with a real number behind it, and FLUX 3 just doesn't have that yet, which puts Veo 3 up 2 to nothing with the coding test already set aside. So Veo 3 is ahead on cost and speed, but we still haven't looked at what these models can actually generate, and that's where the raw capability gap between FLUX 3 and Veo 3 gets really interesting. The next two tests cover clip length, input flexibility, and deployment maturity, and either one of them could flip how you think about this whole comparison. Test 4. Context and output limits. You're generating a product demo video in 8 seconds just isn't enough to tell the story. You need longer clips, multiple image references to lock in the brand look. and a wide aspect ratio for the YouTube banner. And if your model caps out before you get there, you're stitching clips together manually and losing hours to it. The part that got me was the native clip length gap. FLUX 3 generates 20-second clips natively, which is 2.5 times Veo 3's 8-second native limit. On top of that, FLUX 3 accepts up to 10 image references plus audio and video inputs. The trade-off is resolution, since Veo 3 ships at 1080p right now, and FLUX 3 is capped at 720p at launch with 1080p promised later. FLUX 3 takes context and output limits because 20 seconds native with 10 image references is a genuinely different capability class, even with the 720p cap at a launch, and that brings the score to Veo 3.2, FLUX 3.1, with the coding test still set aside. Test 5, Deployment and Modality. You're an AI builder who needs a model that handles video, images, and audio from a single API call, and you want the option to self-host when the time comes. Pick the wrong foundation here, and you're refactoring your whole pipeline 6 months from now when your requirements grow beyond what a closed video-only model can do. I had to run through the model cards twice on this one. FLUX 3 is jointly trained on video, image, and audio, and it even has robotics action prediction built in. Veo 3 is video plus audio, fully closed, API only. FLUX 3 Dev Open Weight Backbone is announced but not yet released, so the self-host option is directional for now, while Veo 3 is GA in production ready via Gemini API and Google Flow today. FLUX 3 takes deployment and modality because joint video, image, and audio training plus an open weight backbone on the roadmap is a broader foundation than anything Veo 3 is offering right now, and that ties the scored tests at 2 each with the coding dimension set aside. FLUX 3 wins on raw generation power. You get 20-second native clips, which is 2.5 times longer than Veo 3's 8-second limit, up to 10 image references per generation, joint video, image, and audio training from one model, and an open weight FLUX 3 dev backbone on the roadmap for when you need to self-host. Veo 3 wins on production readiness. It's the only model here with a published API rate, 40 cents per second down from 75. Veo 3 Fast renders an 8-second clip in 2 to 3 minutes. It ships at 1080p right now and not later. And it's fully GA via Gemini API and Google Flow so you can build on it today without early access friction. Veo 3 Fast wins specifically on turnaround time when you're iterating quickly. That 2 to 3 minute render for an 8-second clip is the fastest documented number in this comparison. And if your workflow is prompt, review, revise, repeat, that speed advantage compounds every single cycle you run. If you need a production pipeline today with a real price at 40 cents per second and 1080p output, pick Veo 3. If you can tolerate early access and need 20-second clips with 10 image references and a multimodal foundation, FLUX 3 is the one to watch. One thing that didn't make the benchmarks: Veo 3's 64-second extended clip capability only exists through the Mosaic Agentic Editor, not the standard API. So if you're building a direct API integration and expecting long-form video, you'll hit an 8-second hard cap and have to re-architect around Mosaic, which is a completely different workflow than most developers plan for. If you're trying to figure out whether Google's broader AI stack is worth building on, I put the full breakdown in my video on Google Gemini 3.6. Everything you need to know, and it covers a lot of the context that makes this Veo 3 pricing decision make a lot more sense